You just had some. How about you let us film, and then as soon as we're done, I'll give you more treats. Does that work for you? Hey guys, it's Saturday. Welcome back to the den. So this week we are doing a Ken special video.
I'm special.
What? So this week we're tackling a subject that is right up your alley. So Ken is an avid coin collector. His first appearance on the den was 2 years ago, or
Yeah, I
3
did a
years
video
ago.
with Mr. Thursday, Eric.
Yep, interviewed you about coins, and that was when I first saw you and thought, damn, he's cute. It's true.
So boy.
So, I'm sure a lot of you have noticed Canada this week announced that we are putting out a Equality Loonie.
Yes, they released... They've been talking about it since before Christmas, but they just released the design to the public this week. I think it was Tuesday or something.
Yeah, so apparently they are in circulation now. We can order them online. We've looked at them, but you pay on average $2.50 per piece because you can only buy them in rolls.
Yeah. So for those of you who may not be familiar with the coins of Canada, the loonie is a $1 coin. They don't have $1 or $2 bills here. It's coins. There's a $1 coin and a $2 coin. It's the $1 coin. And those of you in the States will be familiar with the size of it. It's the same size as the Sacagawea dollar coins, the gold dollars. But it's got, the old lady on the front. It's got Queen Elizabeth II on the front. And the other side has this design with two faces. One is facing this direction, one is facing this direction. And they're kissing. And it says equality in English on one side and French on the other.
Yeah, now the design was, it was actually designed by a gay artist named Joe Average, and he was diagnosed with HIV, I believe it was in 84, so just a nod there to Canada's healthcare system, still alive.
Canada wants their people to live.
We digress. So, he stated that the design was to incorporate both gender fluidity as well as sexuality, sexual orientation. So what the coin represents, the equality, is to mark the 50th anniversary of the start of decriminalization of the gay and lesbian.
Basically, Trudeau's father, Justin Trudeau's father, Pierre Trudeau, made a statement which for 1969 was very controversial, that the government doesn't have a place in the bedrooms of Canadian citizens, basically.
Contemporary society, I think, take this thing on homosexuality. I think the view we take here is that there's no place for the state in the bedrooms of the nation, and I think that what's done in private between adults doesn't concern the criminal code. When it becomes public, this is a different matter.
So basically, it's the 50th anniversary of the beginning of the legalization of
gay rights.
There were laws on the books here in Canada for buggery. For those of you who may not be familiar with a medieval term like buggery, it's basically sodomy. There are still sodomy laws in certain states of the U.S., but slowly but surely it's been decriminalized state over state. But it was a nationwide thing here, and it was overturned at once.
It was more gradual, the whole process, because a lot happened in the 70s and a lot happened in the 80s. Like, bars were still getting raided by the police, people were being arrested, police were physically removing books from libraries, like The Joy of Gay Sex, The Joy of Lesbian Sex. There was lots of stuff that was still banned. So it, like with anything, was a process. I believe the reason why the loonie is causing so much controversy is because it's initially represented as the 50th anniversary of Canada allowing gay rights, and it's not what it is. It was the start of...
Right, much like the Stonewall riots in the United States were the beginning of the gay rights movement, so was this statement made by Pierre Trudeau the beginning of the gay rights movement in Canada. So there's a much more structured timeline, the actual events that he's actually found, and we'll put a link to that in the description as well. so that you can take a look at it if you're interested. He's got it pulled up here on his phone.
Yeah, it's an easy address. It's uwo.ca, and it literally gives a year-by-year breakdown, 70s, 80s, 90s, of the gay rights history, as it were, in Canada. So it even shows specific dates in the timeline when there were raids, like, say, for example, in Toronto, Vancouver, places like that, that spawned protests that furthered the gay rights movement in Canada.
So basically, you know, I think that's part of the issue that the LGBT community has had with the release of that specific coin. There's also a color version that the Royal Canadian Mint has put out. It's like a $10 coin, so it's bigger, and it has a colorized version of the design. Makes the design make a little bit more sense from the standpoint of you can tell what things are a little bit better than the original design. There's also been, as always, outcry from the conservatives and the far right as far as there being a gay loonie with no straight loonie or Christian loonie or whatever. Just like in the States, you know, they're a little bit more subdued here because you get too loud with that kind of thing and it starts to fall under hate speech, which is not protected in Canada. But yeah, there's been pushback from the far right, the conservatives, and then a little bit from the gay community as well, which is totally not the point. The point is supposed to be a design that celebrates equality and inclusiveness. I like the design, and I can tell that it took the person that made it a lot of time. I wish it had been something else.
I wish it had been something else, because I pointed something out to everybody, and now that's all they see when they see the Loonie design, and that is Cynthia, Angelica's doll from Rugrats. Yeah. So, sorry. Spoken like a true Canadian. Sorry, eh?
Yeah, I mean, I wish it had been a little bit different or featured a prominent LGBT person. Like in the States, you would probably see something like that with Harvey Milk on it. Or I would prefer to see someone who participated in Stonewall.
There has been other designs that people have come up with as far as an equality design, and they were so much nicer. It's not to say that this one isn't nice. It just... my personal taste, I would have liked something a little bit different, maybe a bit more geometrical, like something, it's just something else.
Yeah, and the thing is that it's hard to incorporate because a lot of the time your so-called gay pride designs all feature rainbows, and that's really not something that you can institute on a regular coin.
Right.
So it becomes a little bit more, how do you convey this without...
yeah, with just a relief design and not specific color.
Yeah.
So...
because there's a lot of things that don't translate well between art and an actual coin. Like, you very rarely will ever see someone smiling with teeth because it looks creepy as hell. But there are things that just don't translate well, so you've got to be up against that, plus knowing that it's a relief thing. There's not going to be color in it. It's just going to be a pressed design into a metal. So I don't know what I would have wanted. I couldn't really say, oh, it should have been this. I just feel that the design may not have been as...
I wish they would have put it to a public vote.
Yeah, have like maybe a couple of different designs and said which of these do you think should be the next, should be the equality.
Now here's the other flip side of this whole argument, whether it's good or bad, is the Canadian Mint is notorious for putting out a coin for absolutely any reason whatsoever.
Oh my god, birthdays, anniversaries.
I warned him before he moved here that they literally sell Canadian Mint coins at the post office.
Yeah, which excited me initially because I'm thinking, oh good, I can go and get the things that I collect from the post office. No.
Yeah, no, these are pointless design coins just for the sake of selling coins.
Yeah.
Overpriced, extremely overpriced.
Extremely overpriced.
And things like Swarovski crystals all over them. Like, what is that?
Yeah, several of the designs have little Swarovski crystals, like, placed into the center of them, or...
this year's Easter coins.
Yeah.
They're not coins. They're egg-shaped.
Yeah, they'll be needlessly colorized. So, like, you'll get the coin, and it'll have the queen on the front, and then on the reverse side it's basically blank, and they've printed something that they've stuck to the back of it, and it's a special edition coin. It's just not. It's not like the U.S. Mint does, where there's only like 2 to 3 special designs per year, and they're more collectible.
Exactly.
Royal Canadian Mint, they will put out coins for everything. There are Star Trek coins.
If you're a comic book
Spider-Man
fan,
coins.
then you should definitely look at Canadian coins if that's
Yeah.
something that you'd be interested in collecting.
And if nothing else, these coins are all made in actual silver, like 99.999% silver. So even if you collect it and it has no collector value, it's still got value because it's a big chunk of silver. Yeah, there's a collector coin for just about anything from the Royal Canadian Mint.
So some people feel like it's just another cash grab for the Canadian Mint, whereas other people look at it as it's actually honoring something. And I honestly am kind of on the fence about it. Because yes, it marks the start of the gay rights movement, but we were still getting arrested for decades afterwards. Our books, our magazines, none of it was allowed to be sold in stores for decades. Gay bars were getting raided up until like the late 80s. So I can completely understand why people are pissed off and don't support it.
I understand. It would go over like a lead balloon in the States as well. First of all, they wouldn't circulate because nobody uses dollar coins in the States. They use paper dollars. But you would have a much larger uproar from the conservatives because right now they're in power within the executive branch, at least.
Well, that's got to say something when the non-gay supporters or non-gays have an issue with it, and the gay community themselves are divided on it as well. That's got to tell you something right there. Like maybe there should have been more thought put behind this.
Yes.
More discussion.
I'm a little torn when it comes to the gay community being divided on certain things because I absolutely think that you should be able to express yourself
Right.
and have your own opinions and everything. There's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
But on the same hand, I feel like the further along we get into this, the more divided we're becoming, and it's not looking like a community as much as it used to anymore.
Right.
But where do you draw that line between not being a community and still having your own voice?
So, what do you guys think? Do you like the non-colored version? Do you like the colored version, the $20 coin? Is this something you guys are interested in obtaining? Will you be looking on eBay to buy one from Canada? If so, let us know and we'll send you one.
Yeah.
Send us $5.
Yeah, if this is something that you got back in your change, would you set it aside to keep it as like a special thing, or would you just spend it like anything else?
I think honestly, if I get one in my change, I'm gonna keep it. But it's not like I'm
I'm
still on the fence about it.
Yeah. Well,
I really
it's become like the quarters in the States. At first, when they started doing all the different quarters, it was something special and you could collect it. And now they kept going after the 50 states and all the territories were done, in DC as well. They started doing like state parks and national monuments type of things, and it just feels like it's less special.
Yeah.
Than it used to be.
Yeah, and I think that's in this situation. It kind of falls upon the Canadian Mint because they've put out so many coins in the past as cash grabs. Is this really a value? Like, I get it. It's going into circulation. It's not just a collector's coin that they're selling through their store. But it kind of depreciates the value of, not the monetary value, but like the
intrinsic value.
Yeah.
Yeah. I get that. It doesn't seem like it's as special as it used to be when they would make a special coin for something. I mean, you kind of get that a little bit here because you get the different quarter designs, and you've had different Loonie designs and Toonie designs.
Yeah.
Like in 1999, they made a special one for the creation of the new territory of Nunavut, which was cool. But there's a lot of different designs like that. So to me, it detracts a little bit. When you just do one every once in a while that's special, that has a little bit more meaning. But when you're just pumping out one after the next, after the next, after the next, just because you can, or you feel like you have to, it's not quite as special anymore. So anyway, I think that's going to do it for us. But yeah, like he said, is it something that you would collect, something that you would find desirable? Is it something that you would want? Let us know in the comments. If you think they should make one in the States, contact your local congressman because, fun fact, Congress is in charge of letting the mint do special designs of different coins that go into circulation. So they have to approve that. Yeah, let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, tap the notification bell if you want to be notified as soon as we release a video. Check us out on Facebook. And
Just to do it.
I think that's it. Alright guys, have a good weekend. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.